It's doing that. Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about why you can't be perfect with your eating. You can't be perfect with your eating. Let me say it one more time. You can't be perfect with your eating, not for long. You can be perfect with your eating for a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, I suppose. But being a human being, and especially if you've struggled with eating and your weight in the past, like there's no future where you're just perfect with your eating. And you need to get that into your mind because thinking that you can be perfect with your eating is sabotaging you in multiple ways. So what I always work on my clients is to help them realize that you don't need to be perfect to lose weight, first of all. Okay. You just need to be better. You just need to reduce the calories, but you do not need to be perfect. And this is so important because, again, if you think you need to be perfect, it's really hard to be perfect short term, and it's literally impossible long term. And if you're thinking about perfection, it puts you in this all or nothing mindset where you're either doing everything perfect or what's the point of doing anything at all? And this is where a lot of dieters find themselves. And so this concept of perfection is really one of the most toxic concepts that exists with dieting. And the sooner you can let go of perfection and embrace progress, because it's truly progress that's going to get you the results. Now, it may not get you the fastest results. Yes, on paper, technically, perfection's the fastest way to get the results you're looking for. So I'll give you that. And I know you want the fastest results you can get, but we need to zoom out a little bit. Because yes, technically on paper, being perfect is the fastest way to get the best results. But in reality, being perfect is the slowest way to get results. Because when you think you need to be perfect and then you can't be, and you make a little mistake, all of a sudden it feels like you totally blew it. And now you completely quit and you're completely not paying attention to anything until you get remotivated and then say, okay, now I got to change everything to be perfect again. Do that for a little while, make a mistake, completely quit. Wait till you get remotivated, over and over and over. And so the secret to losing weight is not magically waking up one Monday and being perfect with your eating. The real secret is to realize there is no perfection. There is no perfection and there never will be, which isn't to say you can't be perfect for a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. But in your life, you're not going to be perfect. And so if you can let go of that idea and start to embrace what I'm really looking for is to keep getting better, to keep improving. And if I approach it that way, the first thing that happens is it all feels a lot more manageable. It's a lot easier to be better than it is to be perfect. And so all of a sudden it just starts to feel a lot easier, a lot less overwhelming. And you feel more comfortable and grounded in making the changes that are going to get the results you want. So it feels more comfortable. The next thing is that you can start to sustain these because they're not overwhelming, right? Because you're making small, systematic, strategic changes that are comfortable, you're able to keep them up. And eventually they kind of automate and then you can move on to the next thing. And if you look at anything in your life, this is how you improve. You start with the small things and you just keep growing and building and getting better and better and better, improving on them. But when it comes to weight loss with your dieting, it's basically you going from 0 to 100 in one day. And that's very overwhelming and stressful. So again, the idea that perfection gets you the fastest results is true on paper, but in reality, aiming at perfection will typically get you the slowest results or no results. And you can validate that by looking at your own experience. How is your weight now? How is your ability to change it? Are you chasing perfection every time you try and change your weight? It's pretty obvious. So if we change this, it makes it a completely different process and it sets you up for way more success because it's just a more natural, comfortable way to create the changes you're looking for. All right. So if you want help with this process, right, because I know it's a different way to approach your weight loss, click the link in my bio if you're on one of the social medias that I'm on, or go to programyourselfthin.com and get the free hypnosis session I give you. Watch the video I made for you. I made you video training, 3 steps to master your weight. Read the emails I send you. Take the goal weight quiz I send you. All these things are free. Okay. It's a mission for me to help you get to your goal weight and live there. So go check this stuff out and start walking a different path. And if you have any questions about weight loss, feel free to ask them. What's up, Jen? Jen says, the part I'm learning now is that even at 6 months at goal, that's never happened before. I'm still aiming for the 1% better. I'm finally enjoying the journey. Yes, Jen. Jen's in the program. Okay. So Jen has a completely different approach on her weight than most people do. It's completely different than she had. That's what we do at Program Yourself then. Again, your weight really is a reflection of your mindset. I don't know if you believe that or not, but I've found that to be absolutely true. And until your mindset changes in a pretty fundamental way, you're always going to struggle with your weight. If you've struggled with your weight for the last 5, 10, 20 years, you have an overweight mindset. And that's what keeps you overweight. And so just trying to fight against that and force yourself to eat less for a little while to lose weight is for what? Because again, you don't want to just lose weight. You want to live at your goal weight. So it's going to take a more robust approach to making that happen than just fighting against yourself. You're not going to fight against yourself forever. That's not how humans work. So that's awesome, Jen. Yeah, the 1% better. Again, that's Program Yourself. Then we get 1% better. That's the goal. 1% every day. No, hey, some days you're really fired up and motivated. You want to get 30% better that day. Great. 30%, 100% better that week. Great. 100% better for the rest of the year. Great. But at some point, you're not going to be 100%. At some point, and that's what dieters never want to recognize for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's just because you've just been conditioned to think like a dieter, but I don't know why you dieters don't or won't see that you're not going to be fucking perfect. You're not going to be 100% forever. No, you're not. And I know dieters get like so triggered when they're in their diet mode. I'm like, well, what are you going to do when you get to your goal weight? What are you going to do if you mess up? I don't want to think about that. I don't talk about that. Don't be negative. Don't mess me up. And it's like, wow, I think you should start strategizing for that stuff now, because there's a good chance you're going to make a mistake. No, don't be so negative. Negative? You've made a mistake every fucking time you try to lose weight. Are we just going to ignore the part that knocks you off track every time? That's what dieters do. I don't know why dieters, you don't have enough willpower. And so somewhere along the way, you're going to unearth more willpower, and that's what's going to make you succeed with your keto plan. What's the thinking there? Take a second and reflect. I think you're going to be surprised. You don't have much of a plan there. You really don't. When you think about your weight, if you're a dieter and you're thinking about weight loss, let me just point out that you're basically just winging it. Hail Mary. Let me see if this works. Maybe I'll follow my keto plan perfectly this time. Yeah. And maybe you won't. How about that? Can I put some money down? Are we taking bets for this? So great job, Jen. Oh, you're a pro. And Jen, you're just really starting too. I'm telling you, I was talking about this yesterday on a coaching call that with some of my more advanced people that have all mastered their weight, that I know like Program Yourself, and I always say this, that it's weight loss wrapped in personal development. And once you really kind of get the weight piece and the eating piece mastered, it's really just the beginning. How about that? Because the weight loss isn't enough, And so what we want is we want to get the weight mastered so that we can live our lives at the highest level possible. But I don't think you can live your best life. Not if you're overweight. It's not the weight itself. It's how you feel about the weight. So if you're obese, there are some people that are obese that have great health numbers. It does exist. It's unusual. Okay. But if you're one of those people that's obese and has great numbers, just choose whatever weight you want to live at. Okay. And if you're overweight, in the overweight category, I'm referring to the BMI chart. But if you're in the overweight category, a lot of times people in the overweight category are as healthier sometimes than the normal weight people. So it really does become a choice of where you want to live, right? But if you are overweight and you don't like it, if you're overweight and you're unhappy about it, then there's no way that you can live your best life. And it has nothing to do with what you look like. It has to do with how you feel about yourself, how you feel physically, the emotions you regularly feel. That's what it's all about. And so I think, the way we think about this is real important. Can't pull toga. It's Christina, right? What's up, Christina? Christina says, how do you resolve the overweight mind you? How do you resolve the overweight mind you? Okay. Yeah. So if you have an overweight mindset, how do you resolve it? You don't resolve it. You create a new mindset. That's a very important distinction to make. You can never get rid of old wiring. Okay. So for example, if you're listening to me right now, how do you resolve the overweight mindset? Yes. So you don't really resolve the overweight mindset. Okay, you have to think of your overweight mindset as being like a language that you can speak. So you can all speak English right now and you understand English. Okay. And so for the rest of your life, you're always going to understand English. Like you could never not understand English. It's there, it's going to be there. But that doesn't mean you can't learn another language and start speaking in that language. Right. So say you move to Japan. Right now, you start speaking Japanese, you start speaking it more and more and more. 10 years from now, you think primarily in Japanese and speaking Japanese and all the rest of it, but you still understand English. Okay. So we don't resolve the overweight mindset. We create a thin and healthy mindset so that you'll have two mindsets in your head. You'll basically be bilingual. You'll know how to be overweight and you'll know how to be thin and healthy. Right. And we want to gain fluency in each of them. Right. So you're already fluent in being overweight. And that's just kind of a funny way to think about it, but it's really accurate. And what I mean by that is that for you to be overweight, it's not just that, oh, I eat too many donuts. Like weight is never that simple. Weight is really like, it's so big. I always joke, people think of their weight like it's credits and debits in a bank account. But it's really like, it's like the stock market. You know what I mean? There's a lot of moving pieces to it. It's how you think, it's how you live, it's how you eat. And there's a lot of details within that, but just we'll keep it that way. So you know how to think, live, and eat like an overweight person, and you're fluent in it. And when you're fluent in something, the key part of being fluent in something is that you can do it without like any effort. You're understanding me. You could speak back to me. It takes no effort at all. You're just automatically doing it. Now, if you're learning a new language, it takes lots of effort. Right. And so in some ways, I think this is a good reference point for what we're looking to do here, because we're not looking to get rid of your English speaking ability. You can't do that. It would never happen. And so we're looking to keep that, but just use it less and replace it and focus more on our thin and healthy mindset. And then we want to make that thin and healthy mindset. At first, we're kind of learning it, figuring it out, understanding it. And then we're looking to make it fluent. That's where I'm at now. That's where a lot of my clients get to. Once you master your weight, it's when you're fluent being thin and healthy, meaning in a simple way that you think, live, and eat automatically, naturally, like a thin, healthy person. But again, it's very much like learning a language. See, dieting is basically you trying to not speak English. It's like you have your natural ways of being and you just keep trying to stop yourself. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't eat that. Don't do that. Don't drink that. Don't do that. Don't order that. Don't do that. Right. And that's what dieting is. So it's not, you never get fluency with it, because dieting is always fixated on the overweight mindset. And dieting is not a mindset. Dieting is an anti-mindset. This is why it never works long-term. This is literally why 95% of people who lose weight on a diet put it back on, for this reason right here, that you've got this fluent overweight mindset and your diet is not a mindset. It's an anti-mindset that just says, so your automatic overweight mindset keeps generating ideas, thoughts, behaviors. And then you go in a diet mode and you say, no, 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 no. Right. That's basically it. And it gets tiring real quick because we're not built to be mindful, making decisions every moment of time. We're built to be on autopilot. We're built to get fluent at something and then just do it automatically. Like riding a bike, right? You learned how to ride a bike and now you could never forget how to ride a bike. And you could not ride a bike for 30 years, see a bike, get on it, and just start riding it. Why? Because it's been internalized in your brain and now it just runs automatically. Okay. So there's lots of things like that are running, that are basically controlling your weight. And this is why dieting is never going to help you live as a thin, healthy person. A diet can help you lose weight for a little while. I'll give it that. But it's never going to help you long-term live at your goal weight, because it's not a thin and healthy mindset. And you're not going to fight against yourself forever. You will not. It's too tiring. Your brain's not built that way. So the only solution I've seen to intentionally change your weight and live at a lower weight for the rest of your life is to create a new mindset. So baby steps with habit changes. Yeah. I mean, that's a part of it, Christina, right? So the habit step changes are absolutely a component of it, but it's habit changes, it's mindset, it's thinking changes, changing how you think about things. changing how you live, right? Your lifestyle, some of the habits there, and then changing the eating habits, obviously, so it's all of those habits. So it's not just your eating habits. That's what I'm trying to say. It is your eating habits, but it's also your lifestyle habits. It's also your mindset habits, how you think about things. So it's kind of all those things together. And, just like in language, right? We've got verbs, nouns, adjectives. And so we got components of a language and we kind of break it down, learn those components, put them together, practice it, become fluent in that language, right? So it's the same thing in Program Yourself Thin. This is what makes it so unique, is that it breaks down the mindset of a thin and healthy person, the lifestyle of a thin and healthy person, the eating structure of a thin and healthy person, all of it customized to you. So we figure it out and then we work on installing it so it runs on autopilot. And we just keep focusing on that until eventually it becomes fluent. You become fluent in it. And next thing you know, you're not focusing on losing weight. You're focusing and able to live at your goal weight. So the idea of losing weight just completely goes out of your mind because you're at your goal weight. Hope that makes sense. It's a different way to look at it. So sometimes it'd be hard to remember that. Jen says, no matter what weight or health level I'm at, I will always have a resentment of that damn BMI chart. Fair enough. Fair enough. The BMI chart is absolutely flawed. There's no question about it. I don't pretend that it's not flawed. I reference it because it's one of the most accessible, kind of easy ways for most people, short of, you're not a bodybuilder or, someone who's, extremely short or tall. So if you're in the general norms of societal numbers, it's a ballpark figure and it's biased towards white people, white men specifically. It doesn't take everyone into account equally. So I recognize all these things and I'm sure it's even more flawed than that. However, it is a way to get into a ballpark. And then I think from there you can kind of dial it in the way you want. But I get the BMI hate sometimes. I do understand that. So you don't need the BMI chart to choose the right goal weight. But I personally find it to be a useful data point in the process. What's up, Janet? Janet says, hello, I've been on a cleaning up my weight loss journey. I take naltrexone to stop drinking booze, and I created my own eating patterns that work so far. It's great. I'm doing this until I reach my goal of 160 from 222. But I want to celebrate my birthday in August and my successes, no matter how much I've got to, and I want to drink my wine. So I will stop the naltrexone one for then and get back on track with no drinking. Nice job, Janet. Yeah, great job. I mean, you're taking steps in the right direction. And I'm happy you kind of stumbled on this because this might be the most important stuff you ever hear. You're doing what most people do. I'm letting you know this now. And this comes out of caring. I just want to make crystal clear before I say what I'm about to say, that the reason I'm literally here every day is this is a mission for me. I want to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. So I want you to understand what I'm saying comes out of complete and total desire for you to get to your goal weight and then stay there the rest of your life. Live the best life possible, the longest life possible. Okay. That being said, some of your language concerns me. The biggest piece of your language that concerns me is when you say, I've been cleaning up my weight loss journey. I'm doing stuff. I'm doing this until I reach my goal of 160 from 222. That sentence sends shivers down my spine. Don't like that sentence at all because that is the epitome of a diet mindset. Right? The diet mindset's all about getting to your goal weight. It's all about weight loss, losing weight, getting to my goal weight. But the truth is, you don't want to just get to your goal weight. You don't want to lose weight. That's not what you want. You've lost weight before and then put it back on. Are you happy you lost weight? Or are you upset that you put it back on? Okay. So the real goal is not to lose weight. It's to live at your goal weight. This distinction's huge because you're literally, Janet, you just literally said the exact problem. I'm doing this until I reach my goal of 160, which is fine if your goal is to get to 160 and then go back to 222. So if your goal is to get to 160, drink some wine at 160 on your birthday and then go back to 222, then I think you're right on the right path. Because you literally wrote, I'm doing this until. Because what happens then? What happens the day after when you're at 160, you drank your wine? Now what do you do? Go back to eating the way you were eating? Because then you're going right back up to 222. So again, if that's your goal, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like you're on a good path for that. However, if you want to go down to 160 and live at 160 for the rest of your life, I would absolutely start to change my mindset and say, I'm doing this for the rest of my life because I really want to live at 160 pounds. So, some food for thought. Let's see here. Neglecting TikTok questions. So, sorry if I haven't got those yet. This is not a recording. I know sometimes when I skip TikTok for a minute, people think this is a recording. It is not. Toasted bagel cream cheese. It's happening. It's going awesome, actually. Things are going awesome. It's really awesome. I don't know. There's highs and lows of life. The beginning of the year was a little challenging for a couple of reasons, and now everything's kind of smoothing out and hitting the sweet spot, I would say. So things are going awesome. What's up, Kent? Ken says, even after 7 months of successful weight loss with PYT, I still have to remind myself it's okay to make mistakes. Yes. True story, Ken, right? That's absolutely true. I still have to remind myself, and I remind myself a lot through this year and talking to my clients. We have to remind ourselves constantly that mistakes are okay. We want to embrace mistakes and use them as learning opportunities. That's really the secret, to dealing with mistakes, because they're going to happen. That's why, you know what I mean? Again, back to the perfection thing. I think it's not like, again, I think about this so much, but I think it's very intentional. I think the diets are all bullshit. I think they're just there to sabotage you and make you overweight. I don't think diets are there to help you lose weight for good. It's a recurring business model. And most of the big diets are owned by big food companies. But I think this concept of dieting that you start on day one being perfect and you just remain perfect until you reach your goal weight is a crazy idea. It's a crazy concept. And there's nothing else in life that you just start day one being perfect and then expect to be perfect until you get to the end goal. Like that concept doesn't even exist with anything else. So it's super weird. So anyways, yes, we have to reinforce constantly that it's okay to make mistakes. It's not a big deal. And that goes right to the heart of Program Yourself. Then, like, one of the core philosophies is that we don't want to be all or nothing. We want to be all or something. And so again, when you're just really humming along and just like life's great and you're great and everything's perfect, great, right? You still do that. We still want to have those times because sometimes you're extra motivated, extra focused, whatever. Knock yourself out. Do everything perfect for a little while. Great. But at some point, if you no longer are able or want to be perfect, stay in the game. That's the secret. Stay in the game. And that's part of the mistake thing, is how are we going to respond to mistakes? I think that's probably the most important piece of living at your goal weight, is being able to absorb and learn and recover quickly from mistakes that you make. I think that's probably the number one factor that's going to dictate your weight loss success, because most people have no ability to absorb a mistake. Most dieters' mistakes, they call it the what the hell effect. It's specific for dieters, that the second they make the smallest mistake, they completely feel blown off course and they just forget it, and they just quit. So yes, learning how to deal with mistakes, I think, is really right at the heart of it all. And I think dieters are terrible at dealing with mistakes. So that's good work, Kent. What's up, Sonia? Sonia said your camera keeps doing close-ups. Oh, I know. It's driving me crazy. I have no idea why it's doing that. And so, yeah, that's over on Instagram. I don't know what happened, and I keep meaning to fix it, and then every time I realize it too late. And I don't know why it's even doing that, though, to be honest. Luckily for all you, it's only on Instagram, but it is annoying to me because I'm close up and I'm off center. I have not been able to fix it, so I don't know what's up with that. But anyways, I don't know. I try and fix it and it doesn't work. Oh, I see. You know why? Because I never think about it until I go live, and then I can't fix it while it's live. So there it is. But yeah, I apologize for that, Instagram. It annoys me as much as it annoys you, if it annoys you. But all right. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Got a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, if you are not in my world, go click the link in my bio, go to Program Yourself Thin, go get the free hypnosis session I give you, watch the video I made, read the emails, take the goal weight quiz I send you. Go check that stuff out. It's all free. Okay. My mission is to help you lose weight. And I give you lots of free stuff to help you do that. All right. And I'm here live every Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. Pop in here, ask any questions. I'm happy to help you out. And if you like listening to this and you missed the live, It's put up as a podcast every day called Program Yourself Then. It's on all the podcast platforms. Go check it out. Go listen to it. And let me help you. Okay. And living at your goal way is a lot easier than you think. All right. So, all right, everyone, have a super day and we'll talk soon. Bye.